Children's Scotland staff share their favourite LGBTQ+ films, books and music in celebration of Purple Friday.
Lynn says, Torch Song Trilogy, a collection of 3 plays subsequently made into a film written by Harvey Fierstein, who also starred in it. Created in 3 acts, International Stud, Fugue in a Nursery and Widows and Children First, the story centres on Arnold Beckhoff, a gay Jewish man, drag queen and torch singer who lives in New York City in the late 1970s and early 1980s. It was groundbreaking because it focuses on issues like gay marriage and adoption at a time when they weren't openly discussed or accepted, and is credited as having laid the groundwork for many modern queer television shows.
Simon says, the film My Beautiful Laundrette blew my mind and caused me much angst in my teenage years. I was desperate to watch it, but felt I couldn't run the risk in front of my parents. That fear was only cemented by listening to all of the homophobic discussions that went on in the staff canteen of Sainsbury's, my Saturday job, the following weekend. Despite all that, I did get to watch it, and loved the portrayal of 2 men falling in love, with more angst thrown in. But it was one of the more positive and real-life LGBT representations in the media in the 1980s, and stayed with me for a long time.
Parisa says, one of my favourite LGBT writers is Lyra McKee, who is a fantastic Northern Irish journalist who wrote about the long-lasting consequences of the Troubles. After her untimely death in 2019, an anthology of her writings was published. Lyra McKee, in her own words, lost, found, remembered. I would recommend this book to anyone. She writes about issues thoughtfully and empathetically, and we could all learn from her fierce advocating for the marginalised and excluded. Dana writes, as a teenager, Cabaret was one of my favourite musicals, and my obsession with it led me to reading a lot of works by Christopher Isherwood, a gay writer who lived in Berlin in the 1930s. The story centres around a nightclub called the Kit Kat Club, the wild Berlin scene, and the rise of the Nazis. While Cabaret and Goodbye to Berlin, the novel it was based on, only obliquely hinted at LGBTQ+ relationships, Isherwood himself was very much part of the vibrant LGBTQ+ scene at the time. Later, I visited the city and went on a gay 30s Berlin tour based on Isherwood, and the tour guide took us to the original nightclub, now a grocery store, that the Kit Kat Club was based on. Later, Isherwood would go on to write A Single Man and Christopher and His Kind, where he wrote more openly about his life and those of other gay men. All of his works are worth a read, while listening to some show tunes.
Angus writes, I was spellbound by Luca Guadagnino's Call Me By Your Name. The way it tenderly captures the heady infatuation, anxiety, excitement, and confusion of a young person's first love is entrancing, heartbreaking, and powerfully observed. Its portrayal of 2 men is transcendent, reflecting a simple story of love, universally recognisable.
Kat says, it's hard to go past the B-52s for queer fun in music.
Purple Friday was created by LGBT Youth Scotland to celebrate the spirit of the LGBT+ community and its allies. To find out more, visit lgbtyouth.org.uk/Purple Friday.